In my next series of videos, I'm going to show you how you can create a variety of collar styles. We'll be creating a Peter Pan collar, an Eton collar, a shirt collar with a stand and a revers front collar. We'll start with the Peter Pan collar. You'll end up with a pattern piece that will look like this. A Peter Pan collar is a type of flat collar that sits flat on the garment. You can see a few examples here of the Peter Pan collar on different clothes. You can create your own style line for the collar, and you can also decide on how wide you want that collar to be. I'm going to swap my front bodice block with the bust dart here for one where the bust dart has been pivoted out of the way. I've put it into the armhole. It doesn't matter where you move it to, so long as it isn't anywhere around the shoulder or the neck point. You could just create a new bodice front just on paper to use for these examples. To begin with, I'm going to start by putting the two blocks together at the shoulder, and I need to have that dart out of the way in order to do that. Match your two shoulders together for the front and the back so the neck points will meet. And then we're going to overlap the outer point, the shoulder point of the blocks, by 1 centimetre. In full scale we'd be overlapping them by 2 centimetres. The reason they need to be overlapped is so that once the collar is drafted, it will sit flat against the shoulders rather than just sticking out horizontally. I'm going to measure 1 centimetre on this block on the front and just put a marker. And then I know when I overlap, that's where I want that back point to stop. So that's how I know they've been overlapped enough. So make sure the neck point is matching and the shoulders being overlapped by 1 centimetre. Then I'm going to draw in part of the centre back line, the neckline, marking where that shoulder point is there and also here. And I'll just mark in that armhole edge so that I don't end up making a massive collar, and also mark in the centre front line. Once you've got those points, you can then remove the blocks. Next, you'll draw in the collar shape. I'm going to make my collar 4 centimetres deep. So in full scale it would be 8 centimetres. And I mark that 4 centimetres on the front and on the back. And then I can measure out 4 centimetres from the neckline in various places. And then join up those points with a nice smooth curve. I want to add in a shape here at the centre front edge, so my collar will come around and then up to the neckline like so. And you can make that shape how you want it to be. Once you're happy with the shape that you have for your collar, you can then trace off that collar pattern piece and add on your pattern markings. Before you start tracing, make sure you've got enough space around the pattern piece for your seam allowance. Consider where the opening is going to be on your garment. It might be that the opening is at the centre front edge, or it might be that you have a zip in the centre back. If the back part opens, you'll need to add seam allowance along this back edge. But if the back doesn't open, then you can cut this piece on the fold. I'm going to imagine that this piece has got a centre back opening. And I'm adding 1 centimetre of seam allowance all the way round. when you mark the notch, mark it at a 90-degree angle to where it met here. So this is the notch for the shoulder. I'll need to cut four of these because I'll need 2 for the left side and 2 for the right side. To finish off, I'll cut out the pattern piece. And this is my finished pattern piece.